Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander, and it is opening weekend of Disney's live action remake of The Little Mermaid. And like most of these live action remakes, I question why. Why are we doing this? Well, we know why. We know why. But ever since like Cinderella for me was intriguing because it was the story that we know, but it was all told differently. Some familiar elements, but it was new and it was fresh. The characters had more depth, a little bit more complexity than the animated version. Awesome. Dumbo maybe strayed a little too far from the mark, but everything after that kind of sort of just seems to be a scene for scene remake with a little tweak here and a little tweak there. So when I heard they were doing Little Mermaid, and then I was seeing some of the trailers coming out, I wasn't excited. Because what was new, what was being brought to the table? If this was my first time experiencing the story of Disney's Little Mermaid, I would have been blown away because the visuals are amazing. I can appreciate the craftsmanship it took to make these people look like they were mermaids living under the sea. Visually stunning, but the story was the same. And because of that, I got bored and my brain started wandering. In order to get light to show like the way it did, they would only be like 20 feet under the surface. So are they really hiding from humans? How are they not discovered when they're right there, touching distance of the top of the water? Why is Sebastian red? Crabs are only red when they're cooked. Huh? Does Ariel feel wind? She's in the storm. Storm, almost typhoon is happening, and she seems pretty chill until she sees the humans freak out and goes, oh, they look like they need assistance. But has she felt wind before? And do humans and mermaids speak the same language? Or when she's singing to him on the beach, all Eric's hearing is like, like, yeah. So that's where my brain was the first 20 minutes or so of the film. There was a little spark of ooh, because Eric gets a song. And as he's singing about this girl that he is obsessed with after seeing a very, very blurry image of her after being shipwrecked and just hearing a melody, he's obsessed. And he's going to search for her. Even if it kills him, he will search until he dies. Are the lyrics that he says. And then I remember them talking about Ariel's siren song earlier, and it made me think, did she bewitch him? Was Eric bewitched the whole time? And are they going to add an element of, does he really care for her? Or was he bewitched the whole time? And then it took a turn, and I got intrigued. But then it got right back on track, and it was the same scene for scene of the animated original. It does pick up. For me, it picked up when Ariel finally gets to land. She gets her legs. And a big part of that for me was because of Eric. They made him interesting. They gave him some goals. He had wants and desires besides searching for the girl. He had a room of sea stuff, such as Ariel had a room of human stuff. He was shipwrecked as a baby. He was adopted. What? So because Eric had more depth, I was more interested in him and how he would fit with Ariel and then coming together. So Eric, charming as hell. Halle Bailey did the job she was supposed to do. Here's the difficult thing about Ariel, is when you're a kid, you kind of can, you like the fact that she's in love and the romance and trying to show some independence. But as an adult, Ariel, many times, is almost too stupid to live. She makes poor choices left and right. So as someone who may be a little bit jaded, kind of difficult to root for when I'm like, I'm siding with Triton. Not too much. Triton puts his foot down a little too hard, but I feel him. I understand him. We did get a Jodie Benson cameo. I appreciate it. I heard her voice before you see her face, and I got excited. Sebastian, Scuttle, Daveed Diggs, Aquafina, their characters did what they were supposed to do. stayed pretty close to the animated original, but Sebastian should have been named Scuttle because that little crab was scuttling. How did that crab not lose weight? If crabs could lose weight, he was getting his steps in like nobody's business. Because that would have been freaky as hell seeing this little red crab going where it was going. And Melissa McCarthy looked like she was having a ball. Again, a lot of the lines were the same, but she did bring a nice menace to the role that was just kissing, being over the top, but she never went too far. I also like what they did with Grimsby. He was very intriguing, the choices that he was making and how he was filtering in through the behind the scenes. What I wish we did have was I wish we had a little bit more backstory on why Ursula was banished. If her and Triton are brother and sister, why is he a merman and she a squid woman? That's gotta be a story there. I'd like to hear that one as well. I would have liked more of that and a little less under the sea. Under the sea, we've seen a bajillion times. We didn't see the origin of Ursula or even get a little nibble. We hear she likes to mess with humans and merm people, and that's all we hear. I'd like to know more, but I would strongly, highly, seriously suggest don't take small children to see this. Please, sweet baby Jesus, don't take small children. And by small, I mean 6 and under. Because there were a lot of under 6s, a lot in my theater. And I know this because they screamed the whole time. Because this isn't bright and colorful dancing, singing fish. The visuals are big and all the faces, I think so that they could animate less tails. Everybody's just a screen in the head, like a headshot on this giant screen. And also Triton's very intense. And then you got Ursula, very intense. So when Ursula started being Ursuline, these kids freaked out, especially the end, which was the best part when she gets big. That scene was amazeballs to see live action. It was menacing. The visuals were like, wow. And all the little kids in the theater started screaming and crying. So seriously, too intense for small children. Just leave them at home. Wait till it comes out on Disney Plus, which you know it will in about 6 weeks. Let them enjoy it. Let them scream from the comfort of their own living room. So when I spend my money to go to the theater, I always have a wish of, I just want to be entertained. Was I entertained? The last half of this film, or I should say the last 2/3, I was entertained. It had a little bit more freshness to it, a little more interest to the storyline. If you're a fan of The Little Mermaid, you might want to see it on the big screen, but I have discovered recently I can't view IMAX well. Something with my vision and the curve of the screen and the depth, it just looks like a muddled mess. So if your eyesight's like mine, a big screen with a room full of screaming children may not be your idea of fun. So yeah, wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. I think you will enjoy it for nostalgia purposes. But is it an absolute can't miss? Personal preference. Personal preference. But I am interested to hear what all of you think. Did it live up to expectations? Where does it rank on your scale of these Disney live action remakes? Because as we've heard recently, there's more coming at us. Yay? Yay. But thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me. I do appreciate it so much, especially if you've subscribed, because I'd like to see you back here for all the full action, for all of the reaction videos that I do of action stuff. This is your reminder, if you haven't done so already, stand up, stretch your body, go get something to eat, and then come back and see the next video in the queue. So thanks again, y'all, and until next time.